We secured a hat-trick of home wins, what ended up being a very emphatic 4-1 victory against Exeter on Tuesday. We're back at the Valley today as Michael Appleton and his side look to try and extend the unbeaten streak to 6 matches. And he certainly knows about the team we're up against today, as he was in charge of the Blackpool side in the Championship last season. Neil Critchley's team have played well this time around, but struggled for goals until the arrival of Jordan Rhodes. The prolific striker scored 5 in 6 since joining on loan from Huddersfield and have helped Blackpool turn good performances into wins, although they did of course lose on Tuesday to Derby and now just 1 place above the Addicts in the table. Lots coming up. Here's what we've got over the next 40 minutes. We'll hear from Michael Appleton, who spoke to CharltonTV ahead of today's match. Terell Thomas has covered well at left back for the injured Tayo Eden. We'll hear from the St Lucian international before kick-off. And the club's technical director, Andy Scott, updates on the latest goings-on at the football club. Well, it is a warm welcome to everybody around the world. Don't forget, if you haven't got your match streaming pass, get it ahead of kick-off, just £10. And what is today's game where we hope we can come away with all 3 points. Delighted to say it's been too long, Curb, since you and I have been in the same studio.
2 weeks.
It's been a couple of weeks, hasn't it? And Brownie suddenly got better looking. Delighted to say the current Charlton goalkeeper Harry Isted is alongside us. Look, it's delightful for us for you to be here, mate. I'm sure it's not for you. How is the knee and what's the latest on it?
Yeah, I'm just doing physio at the moment, and hopefully it's 5 weeks from now that I'll be back fit or back ready to be back in the matchday squad. Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, so I'm thankful for that, but it's just the road of getting back now.
Yeah, what do you like being injured? Is it? Can you sort of just say, OK, this is the time now where I'm going to do what I need to do, or are you just an absolute nightmare both on and off the pitch?
I haven't been injured for probably like 5 years now, so it's been a long time, but I don't think the start of it's a bit boring because there's not too much I can do. I need to just let the fracture in my knee heal, and then as soon as that's done, that's when I can start loading again and start to get back on the pitch.
Let's have a look at the moment, shall we, where obviously it's probably something you don't necessarily want to see, but obviously it was a wonderful save at the same time. What was a bizarre sort of 30 seconds, wasn't it? Talk us through it. What was going through your mind here?
Yeah, obviously we've got the corner and they break away and he takes that touch and I see him look at me, and then when I see that look, just started sprinting back to the goal. And then when he hit it, I was just watching the ball in the air in the clouds whilst running. It's not a nice feeling, I tell you, but...
and it was going behind you as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, a bit behind me, and then kind of made for an awkward landing, so I took off, twisted, and then I landed and my leg hyperextended, so my knee kind of locked out. And then, so yeah, that was what's done my injury, and then took a nice hit in the back of the goal as well. Yeah,
and the fact that you went on to the end of the game shows how much your professionalism and resilience that you have. So, but we of course wish you all the very best with the rehab there. You weren't playing on Tuesday, but it was a very good 4-1 win, wasn't it?
Oh, great win, yeah.
What did you make of it?
I thought against the run of play, went 1-0 down, and I thought we were always going to come back into the game, and luckily we did before half time, and then come out the second half, got the penalty, and obviously a red card that, has it now been overturned, the red card? But I thought at the time it did look quite a rash, out of control tackle, and that kind of happens. I mean, we've probably had our bad luck with referees and not getting the decisions, and went on to win the game comfortably.
It's 5 games unbeaten now, isn't it, in the league? What has Michael come in and done? How has he turned things around?
He's come in, and there's obviously recently been the kind of thought that we're a bit of a soft touch sometimes, so he's kind of got that out of us. And
how?
Just by getting our attitude and keeping on us every day, and just putting that into training and training how we play, really, because there's a lot of quality in this squad, and if you're not bringing out on the training pitch, then how are you going to bring it out on a match day? And he's done that, and how he works is obviously working for us on the pitch as well.
It was a good performance, wasn't it, especially coming back from behind on Tuesday?
Yeah, I mean, Harry's right. We had a couple of decisions go for us, but gone 1 down, and you're thinking, oh, here we go. They look quite sharp on the break, but we got ourselves back in it just before half time, and yeah, the penalty and the luck of the penalty, if you like, because Chucks has took the penalty. I mean, I don't know what Michael was thinking, but
what were you thinking?
I've had it done to me. but it was a little bit different. We had a penalty here, and Matt Holland was the penalty taker, and Di Canio snatched it off him. And it was against Arsenal.
I saw him do that with Frank Lampard at West Ham as well.
He snatched it off him, and it was against Arsenal. And Lehman was in goal, and he dinked him. So like, I was sitting up there thinking, you better score, right? Anyway, was obviously when Chucks just took the ball off of Alfie, you think, oh, please score. But then it's hit the post and come back, and luckily he came back to Alfie. And he's finished it.
Alfie scored that perfectly then.
Yeah, it don't count as a penalty now, it's a goal, isn't it? So, listen, we've been talking a lot about momentum, and to get in the playoffs, we've got to get most of our points here. That's normal. So we've got to make this very, very difficult, and the more times we can get them results, teams are going to come here not fancying it too much, and the confidence, and with the fans. So yeah, it's important now. We've got a bit of momentum going. We've got more home games this month than away. Can we keep it going? And it's always the next game. So yeah, the 1-4-1. I'm sure the next day everyone's just talking about this game. And you know, can we beat Blackpool? And the way it is in the league at the moment, if it goes for us today, we could move up 3 or 4 or even more places.
We could definitely be in the top half at the very least. Harry, we'll talk more to you and about you and life at Charlton as well in just a couple of minutes. But let's hear from the head coach now, shall we? Michael Appleton, who I spoke to a little bit earlier.
Michael, unbeaten in 5 now. I'd say probably all of those games at some point we've been on the back foot, which is not unusual. But in recent months and years, we perhaps would have lost those games. So how pleased are you that if we haven't won them, we haven't lost them?
Delighted. Obviously, you know, you're always looking for a response from players, whether it's, you know, after a defeat or after a poor performance. But for them to manage and deal with it within the game is going to be crucial if we're going to win more games. Different sides of, like you say, causes different types of issues, and what we have been able to do is sort of reassess whether it's half time during the game and then try and sort of rectify it.
Yeah, I mean, the word we've been talking about for almost the last couple of years is resilience, that perhaps we haven't really kind of had that. How are you sort of getting that into the players? And do you get them to problem solve on the pitch during the game as well, or do you bark out the orders regularly?
A little bit of both. I mean, obviously there's not too many experienced players in there, so it's hard to give them sort of, or expect them to like have that much responsibility to deal with themselves. You know, Tuesday night was a great example of it. You know, we fought Exeter to do one thing and they came and did something else, which was good from their point of view. And it took till half time to really deal with it and make sure that our wide boys pressed from in to out instead of out to in. And just a little tweak like that helped us massively in the game and turn the game our way. So they're the type of things that obviously we can help them with. But in terms of when we talk about resilience, making sure you put your body on the line, making sure you mark from crosses, you know, I think sort of young players have this thing about defending space, and I've never seen space score a goal yet, to be honest with you. So, yeah, just little tweaks to try and help them along the way, really.
In terms of today's team, then, what are we thinking?
Well, there's just a couple of, well, actually one change. Chuck's is back on the bench, and Miles will come in and play up top. We had a couple of lads who are sort of 50-50 before the game and they've come through, so that's pleasing. So yeah, just the one change today, and yeah, hopefully for a similar sort of performance.
Yeah, there's so many good attacking individual talent going forwards, you know, with Chucks and Miles and Alfie, TC, Corey. How do you kind of fit them all in? And do you have in your mind a sort of preferred 11, or is it just a question of just see who's fit, see who's training well, and we'll go for see what the opposition's like as well?
A little bit on the opposition, because you know, we've been reasonably fortunate last sort of 4 or 5 games that we've had, because they've all played with a free, and we pretty much expect Blackpool to do the same again today. But yeah, I think it's one of them where obviously rotation is going to be key, but doing it at the right times. You know, it's easy to just continue to rotate, but ultimately people want to get in a rhythm. The players want to work together. So I'm mindful of that people have come off the bench and made a real impact, and I think we've seen that the other night, the performances of Teddy and obviously Chucks. You know, they come off the bench in previous games and did well and deserved the start. So just getting a mixture and a balance of all of it, really.
Yeah, so you mentioned Blackpool, another one of your former clubs. How do you approach this game? I'm sure it's like any other, but what are we thinking about what they can pose?
Well, they are dangerous. You know, I fully expected them to be right up there, from being honest, you know, because the nucleus of the group from last season is pretty much still there. What they do really, really well is they're hard to beat. They set up, they're sort of very rigid in the setup, certainly out of possession, make it really difficult for you, want you to play in front of you. So, you know, I thought we were good sort of making runs off the ball the other night and trying to get in behind Exeter. I think if we're going to get the same sort of result or a win, we have to do that today. We won't get any joy sort of playing in front of Blackpool, because they'll love that and they'll lap it up. So, got to be aggressive, sort of nullify their sort of strengths, which is obviously when they're out of possession, they win the ball back.
Final one then. The fans stuck with you in that first half when 1-0 down. How important will they be today?
Huge, yeah, and you know, I hope they turn up in their numbers and you know, get behind the players as much as they did on Tuesday night. Thought that was good, and it was a real telling factor for me that, you know, they didn't get frustrated with the players on Tuesday. I thought we were good Tuesday first half. It was just a couple of instances that obviously we got caught and let ourselves down. And I actually genuinely think the fans seen that. I think they knew that we weren't that far away. And then obviously second half we took the opportunities that came along.
I'm sure they'll enjoy it at the Costa del Valle today anyway. Michael, good luck.
Cheers, Scott.
It is a beautiful day here at the Valley. That's why Curbs hasn't got to Spain this week. He's quite happy to be here. But it is just the one change. Miles comes in for Chucks. Isn't it amazing? Fantastic to see Chucks, you know, back fit again and able to start a game as well. But Curbs, I think he's basically saying we want to try and keep it as consistent as possible while still looking after Chucks.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it often enough, consistent team selection. Does that bring consistent results, or is it the other way round? Results bring a consistent team selection. But yeah, I think that for me, I was just hoping that a change of shape and that for Alfie May didn't affect him. You know, asking him to play as a number 10, because he's so honest. He was tracking back, and he was, you know, but he's a number 10 to score goals and make goals. And the classic example was his second goal, where we broke down the left and he's got in the box. And yeah, so I think the obvious choice was Chucks to come out and Miles to go in, and no other change. So yeah, can we get that momentum? Can we get that consistency in team selection and in results?
Harry, I touched on the amount of individual talent that we've got. What's it like to come up against them in training?
Oh yeah, it's great every day in training, because you're just testing yourself, and you've got the quality we've got, having that against a small-sided games, or whether we're doing attack me defence or in finishing afterwards, like, you're pushing yourself to be the best you can be as well, and that helps having those individuals.
Does anyone give you a little bit of stick? You give it a bit of banter back? Is there any one player in particular who keeps putting the ball in the back of the net or can't do it and you give him some?
I've been at a few clubs where the strikers hate the goalkeepers, but it's fair, the strikers they're all right here. They're goalkeeper friendly. There's a few that hit it too hard, too close to you, and you think, and that's why Ash wears a mask now. But
yeah, that's true.
He got whacked in the face a couple of weeks ago, didn't he?
I think so, yeah.
And in terms of the bench as well, we're looking strong on the bench. There's lots of options there, aren't there?
Yeah, so many options. You got likes of Chem, TC, Chucks to come on, the attacking threats, and you got Scotty Fraser, who's the experienced one on the bench, who can come on any kind of situation if we need a goal, or if we need to sit back in and defend that lead.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of credit to Michael where he's come in and he's changed things around, Curves, but it does help when you've got those options that Dean didn't have.
Well, Dean didn't have them centre forward options, did he? That was a problem. I think Fraser was out as well. But yeah, it's great. I mean, if you're the opposition and you see Chucks come off and Miles come on, or vice versa today, it's difficult if you're centre half. And as Harry's saying, you know, the likes of Fraser on the bench, and there's still people out injured, you know. So and Lucas Ness, who was playing regular before he came out of the side. So yeah, the squad is strong, and you know that gives Michael a few problems, you know, because everyone wants to play.
Yeah.
But the only way you can keep everyone happy is by winning.
Winning games. That's all
And
it is.
let's carry on winning.
And I keep hearing you managers say, you know, it's problems, but it's positive problems. I'm not 100% sure it is all the time, but you want to have the options.
It's something you want to have, though, isn't it?
Of course it is. Yeah. And when I was, obviously the team was doing well, and if I did make any changes, I should do it on a Thursday. Make the change on a Thursday. If someone's angry, they can come and see me Thursday afternoon, and if they ain't calmed down by Friday, they weren't in the squad. So they can come in and have a row, but by the time they left the room, well, if you're not in the right frame of mind tomorrow,
you've got 24 hours to get
24 hours to get home. Instead of doing it on a Friday, I couldn't possibly do it on a Saturday,
Yeah.
especially as someone like you. Like, fancy leaving you out on a Saturday.
You'd never leave me out, Kev. You'd never leave me out. Obviously, you're being injured, Harry. Ash is in charge of between the sticks now, and I believe you get on with him. And it's the goalkeepers' union, so I'm sure you do. But what's he like, and how good can he be?
Oh, he's a top lad and a great goalkeeper, and he showed that by making number one place his at the start of the season because he had such a good pre-season. And yeah, goalkeeping, it's hard because there is only one position, and if you're not in the squad, then you're either waiting for injury, red card, or maybe a dip in form. But it's hard to get back in. But
give us an SP on the young lad on the bench then.
Henry, I've been working with him since I've come in, and yeah, he's a confident young man. Yeah,
How old is he?
19.
Well, you never know. He may be thrust into it, mightn't he?
No.
That's not.
There he is.
That's not Henry. That's James.
It's James.
That's James. Work for. Henry's got a fatter head than that.
It's amazing though. There is that kind of goalkeepers union. Whatever Mikel Arteta says though, there's no two number ones. There's the number ones, but
you can't rotate it there, like
no.
you said. You can't. I don't think you can rotate it because then how are you gonna have the confidence and have the feel? It's maybe different because they're.
I always thought that triangle, the two centre halves and the keeper.
Very important indeed.
Yeah, you can't rotate
Very
it.
important indeed. Okay, well, starting left back in that lineup is Terell Thomas, and I spoke to him a little bit earlier.
Terell, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. 5 games unbeaten in the league now. How different does it feel from the early part of the season? And what's Michael done since he's come in to change things around?
Obviously, definitely the feeling around the place is much better. Coming to the training ground and everyone's upbeat about things. Everything's good at the moment because obviously we've won 3 and drawn 2 of the last 5 and we've gone unbeaten. So yeah, things are really looking good around the place. People coming back from injuries. Squad's really coming together. So yeah, and I think the gaffer just made things have just gone back to a bit of basics, really. I can't really say too much of I think what has changed, but it just a bit of a fresh start. That's what it feels like. So yeah, everyone's enjoying it right now.
Yeah, everybody's starting on a clean slate, aren't they, as well? And as you say, back to basics, people perhaps being asked to just do the simple things, which clearly is working. Look, you've been playing left back for much of that run, a role I know very well indeed. Are you enjoying it at all? How different is it to centre half?
Yeah, no, I enjoy it. I enjoy it, I'll say, more than centre half.
Do you?
Because like you just obviously I can go forward a bit and be a bit more expansive, but yeah, I don't know. That's honestly, I'm really enjoying playing and feel like I'm getting in the groove of it. I did play there a bit last season. That's how sort of around like March times I played a few games and then went back to left centre back. So yeah, I can't say I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to today as well.
Which shows your versatility anyway. You've got Lloyd Jones alongside you, of course. What's he like to play against, and who talks the most between you and him? How do you communicate?
Oh no, the communication is good. It's sort of a battle of who can talk the most at the moment. So yeah, playing with him is fantastic. He's like really commanding in the air, and we had to sort of sort that out a bit at the beginning because obviously me being a centre back, when the ball's in the air, that's my bread and butter. So I had to understand, okay, yeah, look, I'm a bit of the cover now, and he's more controls the aerial balls, which we've got a really good partnership going, I think, and the communication is good, and across the whole back four, I think, which is why I feel that we're not conceding many. I don't feel we've conceded many chances over the course of 90 minutes of all the games.
You must be 7 or 8 inches taller than me, so I knew my role was always from the get-go just to drop off and in behind. But no, there is that little succinct differences between the two. I mean, it was widely reported that perhaps you were going to go in January as well. How pleased are you that you stayed and you're now getting the opportunity to play in the first team for Charlton?
Massively happy to stay, and I'm really happy to have got into the team and renewed the contract to stay at Charlton. Obviously, I came through here, so it's something that has always been on my agenda to succeed or get a promotion with Charlton Athletic. So to get the opportunity to come back beginning of last season, obviously I was training with the team for maybe 2 weeks before I signed, and then play a role in a lot of the roles in the second half of the season and renew a contract. I'm really happy.
And of course, you're off to St Lucia, aren't you, after this game as well? Can I come? How much are you looking forward to that? Because you've got a very difficult home and away set of games now coming up, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it a lot. It's a different, obviously different group of players and
different dynamic.
Yeah, different dynamic. That's the word I'm talking about. Yeah. So the games they'll be tough. We play Guadeloupe twice, who have a lot of French-born players who play in the French league. So it'll be a good game and a tough game.
But it'd be nice to concentrate on today, obviously, which I know you will, and to take that trip as you're crossing the pond with all 3 points behind you.
Yeah, that's the main focus. The focus right now is on the game. So between 3 and 5 o'clock is the main focus. Hopefully we can get the 3 points. I feel that we will put in a good performance, and hopefully goals and points come with it.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good to speak to Terell there. And Harry's done more than a decent job at left back, hasn't he? What was he like to play behind?
No, yeah, I'm confident playing behind him. I think he obviously touched on there that he's a centre back naturally, but he's got that athleticism that helps him play out on the left, and he's quite attack minded. Like he's not shy of going forward, and he's good with both feet as well. So he's got a lot of string to his bow, which helps him.
Yeah, he said he's enjoying playing left back because he can get forward. Is he vocal? Or is he quite quiet?
Yeah, no, he is a vocal, and especially like in the dressing room as well. He's one of the more vocal ones, and that's just the experience he has as well. And yeah, it brings everyone together. And when everyone's talking in the change room, and there's not just people shying away, it is everyone contributing, and it's a good place. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about sort of little partnerships with Lloyd Jones there as well. How important is it to build those partnerships on and off the pitch?
Yeah, I keep hearing the words really good lad," you know, so that helps. But what I like about the versatility, and I just said to Harry that, you know, we had Herman Wrightson, didn't we? And he could play left back or centre back, and depending on how the opposition shaped up, we could turn into a free or play a back four, and he went left back and Powley moved up or whatever. Because you can't, you know, sometimes you want to change during a game, you know, perhaps you hold on to something and you want to be a bit more defensive. So that's great that he can play in both positions.
Let's talk about you now, Harry, before you go. How much are you enjoying your time at Charlton, both on and off the pitch?
Yeah, I'm loving it. I've settled in really well from day one kind of thing. I think it's important. I've touched on it before in other interviews of kind of like going away, having that pre-season trip and integrating with all the lads, and they made me feel welcome. So it's been an easy process for me to fit in. Yeah.
What I mean, again, we're hearing good lad. What is it like? What is the dressing room like at the moment?
Yeah, it's a good balance of, there's obviously banter, and it's a nice place to come into work, and when you're on the training pitch, that stops, or it can carry on a little bit, but when it's time to work, we work at a top level, and that's now showing with the results we're now picking up.
Away from the pitch, the players were recently asked as well which song they would select if they could only ever sing once. You know I'm going with this, don't you? Some interesting choices, of which one of which is yours as well. Can you explain what you selected and why?
I chose Luke Combs' Better Together. I really like country music at the moment, and that's what I listen to. And I'm seeing him in a few weeks' time. He's down at the O2. And
you got tickets, have you?
Got tickets, yeah. I managed to get tickets, and I think there's a few odd choices from other lads. Alfie May in particular.
Right, before we get on to that, do you want to sing a little bit of? No?
Do you want to say?
No, Maven swiftly on.
Who sorts out the music in the dressing room?
I think Chuck's on a training day, and then I think Heck's on it on a match day.
I used to love 2:30. So I could turn it off.
They could get out. They're
get all the players out.
Yeah.
Merv, turn that music off.
Go on then. What was Alfie's?
Alfie was a Dolly Parton song, but not like 9 to 5 or Jolene. It was like some song that I've never even heard of before.
Brilliant. So, Curbs, what would your song be?
Oh, loads. Loads.
The who?
Yeah, let's go with that. Who are you? Something like that. Get the quiz going.
Yeah.
Won't get fooled again, won't get fooled again. No.
No. Okay, fair enough. Listen, Harry, you know, we could have you here all the way until 3 o'clock, but I know we haven't got you. Listen, first of all, well done in the Charlton shirt, what you've done up to now. Good luck with the injury as well, and hope you get back fit very soon, because I think it's going to be a good battle between the two of you.
It will be.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Thank you.
It will be indeed. Okay, while the substitution happens, because unfortunately it means we've got to get Brownie back on.
Oh.
I know. Let's hear from the club's technical director, Andy Scott, and then apologies in advance, we will have Brownie.
It was an unbeaten September in the league and a 4-1 win at the Valley to start October. How pleased have you been with the recent form of the men's first team?
Well, obviously it was a big decision for Dean to leave, but you know, so far it's been a positive response from the players, and Michael's come in and performed very well. We've liked what he's done on the grass, and he's obviously still learning, you know, his team and the players. But you know, it's a start, and that's all it is. We're not getting carried away, that's for sure. Still look at the league table and know we're a long way off where we want to be, and I think performances as well. There's elements that we need to improve. Michael's very aware of that, but we're 5 games unbeaten. It's a good thing to be moving in the right direction. We've got a couple of good games between now and the international break that we need to go and get 2 more wins under our belt, and then look forward to the games coming after that.
You talked there about building the club. There are changes been made here at the training ground as well. Can you just talk us through what's been done and why?
Yeah, it was something that we looked at. You know, the modules that have come in. That's a first team building, a first team gym and medical centre, and the change rooms all came from Reading when they moved their training grounds. So, but effectively they've been picked up and put into this training ground, and we're using them as Reading used them. And it's you know, we just feel that for an ability to interact with all our departments from a football perspective, we needed to change certainly the admin building. So we're doing some work over the next 3 weekends about completely refurbishing it. You know, we're putting the administration all in one side, so they're away and they've got the security and the privacy to do their work. We're making a big open plan office. We're knocking the offices down and knocking some walls down, so that we can have all our football departments working together and collaborating. There'll be spaces for the women's team and for the academy to come and join in, open plan, hot desks effectively, but so people can communicate better, so people can collaborate, share ideas, understand how each other works, and then we generate really good communication and an understanding of how we can improve together, rather than sitting in little boxes and not coming out and talking to each other. Because football clubs are about communication. It's about understanding how each of our departments can work closely together to improve themselves and each other, and that hopefully that space will encourage that to happen.
You talk about infrastructure. You've also talked about appointing a director of performance. What's the latest in that search?
Yeah, so that's taken a while. I've got to be honest. It's got to the point now where we're in the second interview stage. We had two interviews yesterday. We'll complete that process at the beginning of next week, and hopefully be in a position to appoint someone soon after. But we've been very, very pleased with the level of the candidate that we've spoken to and that applied. And we hope that we can have someone that really fits with what we want to do and can take us to a level of detail and quality that we need to improve, our performance side and give the guidance and help that everybody in our staff needs.
And from one goalkeeper to another. Welcome, Brownie.
Yeah, I've had a go.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I just said it.
Jazz hands.
Do you know what? It was really good with Harry, wasn't it? I missed him already.
Isted. Right, at least I got his name as he left properly. I said it wrong 5 times in commentary on Tuesday.
It's a freak accident, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Amazing.
He was unlucky.
Yeah.
But he did well to keep the ball out of the back of the net, I have to say. Look, back to Andy's interview there, Curb. It's been a really good few weeks with the club, wasn't it? And you can see what he's trying to do off the field as well.
Yeah, and I just think you've just got to look at the strength of the squad. We've got a few injuries, but look at the bench today. You've got people, like Chucks and Fraser and Ness, Campbell, all people that have been playing in the first team. So, yeah, listen, I think Michael will have 1 or 2 problems when they're all fit. I don't know if they're ever all going to be fit, but he's made 1 or 2. That's what you want. And you want them coming in, angry a little bit, hungry, if they're not playing. You don't want them sulking. And I think that's the team spirit at the moment sounds as if it's picked up somewhat, and with the momentum we keep talking about that, but if we can get a couple of results, you know, with these home games coming up, then yeah, we'll be looking upwards.
Brandy, good to see you. Look, I mean, clearly a desire not to get carried away, but we're trying to sort things out at Sparrows Lane as well. It's really important, that type of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think when Andy comes on, he covers all bases, doesn't he? I think when we've had Steve Gallen on in the past, it's been mainly about recruitment, and Andy's keen to get his point across that it's about the whole club. I think the new owners want to take it in a different direction again. I do feel like there's a mentality change, for sure, and it's more based on a winning mentality. So you know, there's still work to do. I think Andy would admit that. I didn't get a chance to listen to that interview, but I think if January comes around and we're anywhere near the top 6, I can see some wheeling and dealing. I'm not saying they're going to spend money, but I can definitely see some wheeling and dealing with the squad.
What I think is out there is Dobbo and Corey Blackett. That, you know, they got 6 months left. So you know, I should imagine he's working on that one at the moment.
Well, you just get a feeling if we can keep our best players and add some players in, and look at the likes of Louis Watson that's come in and done really well as well, you never know what can happen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. OK, right, on to today's fixtures in Sky Bet League One, and some interesting ones around the league. Oxford and Bristol Rovers kicked off at 12:30. That game finished with Oxford beating Bristol Rovers by 2-1. Third place Bolton take on Carlisle, while Cheltenham, still without a goal, face a difficult home game against Derby. Opponents from Tuesday, Exeter host Barnsley, and Will Aimson, who was sent off on Tuesday's game, will be available after his red card ban was overturned. Top of the table, Portsmouth host Port Vale, and fifth place Stevenage face a Wigan team that have taken just 3 points in the last 6 matches. Also, I have to say, on today's fixture list, and you can just see there, Leyton Orient face Reading, with the match dedicated to supporter Derek Reynolds, who sadly passed following their game against Lincoln on Tuesday. And our thoughts and condolences, of course, are with the family and everybody connected with Leyton Orient at what is clearly a very, very difficult time. OK, now before we move on to today's game, let's get an update from the Charlton Athletic Community Trust. A record number of Charlton Athletics men's and women's first team players have become player ambassadors for our award-winning community trust this season. 14 players will take on a role, including men's team captain George Dobson and women's team player of the year Beth Rowe. To find out more about CAC's work and view the full list of ambassadors, visit cact.org.uk. And Curbs, great to see the players getting involved in the community, isn't it? I mean, that is what we're about off the pitch, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it started up when we got back to the Valley. Me and Gritty was in charge. Jason took over that long ago, and it's grown from strength to strength. And everyone talks about our community and how good it is. And yeah, the players should get involved. I don't think it's too difficult, and the response that they get from the boys and girls is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, Brandy, coming through the ranks as we did as well, we were taught about, you know, it's really important the community side as well as what you do on the pitch.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it did start very early, actually, because I remember the list that used to go around, and you have to go to a supporters group or do an assembly at schools. And you know, you had a partner, there was 2 of you, and the list went round, and you know, it was when you got to the top, whatever was next, whether that be a supporters function on a Thursday night or an assembly, that's where you went, and you did that, and you were tying in the local community, and it has grown from strength to strength. I think I'm up House of Lords actually on Tuesday with Jace, Michael Grade, and for the awards, for the CACT Awards. So that's how big it's become.
You're making a speech?
If they want me to. I mean, I don't know if I've got the time, because I, you know, tend to elongate everything I say.
Can you say a word with Rishi about this and about that?
No, I don't get into politics, Curbs. I don't think there's a decent politician out there.
Oh, so you don't get into politics?
Let's not get political, shall we? But we can do that maybe afterwards. There's a show there somewhere, I'm sure. People who don't know what they're talking about people who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
OK, our women's team take on Durham tomorrow at the Oakwood before returning to the Valley on October the 22nd for Derby Day against Crystal Palace. Please visit booking.cafc.co.uk to get your tickets for that one. good luck in the next coming games for Karen and the women. OK, back to today's game. Let's have a look at the teams, actually, because you weren't here when we did our team. So let's have a look at what we think it would be. Just the one change. Not surprising, really. Miles in for Chucks?
No, no surprise at all. I would have been very surprised if Chucks had started, actually. That would have been a brilliant sign for him, mentally and physically, but I don't think anybody expected it today. It was just who he went up front. There was talk of Tedic maybe going across to the centre, and then maybe Miles outright or Tyrese Campbell, but they've gone for Miles. I mean, it was a brilliant finish on Tuesday night from Miles, and you know what, it just makes sense just for that little swap over. But yeah, I didn't expect too many changes.
Well, look, I don't want to ask you more about Charlton as well, but we've got to talk obviously about Blackpool and especially Jordan Rhodes as well. Albie, by the way, is on the bench, so we'll see whether he comes on or not. But Jordan Rhodes, proven goal scorer, though like all goal scorers, he's gone through dips in form. How do we combat him?
Yeah, well, I must admit, up until his hat-trick the other night, he wasn't prolific this season. But all strikers, once they get their, confidence up, they can be a handful. What you are going to have to combat is his experience. So reading the game, taking up little positions, little nudges off the ball so he can get that half a yard. So you've got to be quite cute today as a centre-half. You've got to read the game, not let him dictate to you, not let him back into you, not let him do all those little things that happen off the ball so that he gets his half a yard, because I don't think he's dynamic anymore. He's not going to lose you a pure burst of pace, but he is going to be quite clever.
Maybe even play a high line, because he's not going to get him behind at that pace, but once you drop off and he gets half a yard, you've got to be careful, haven't you? So in terms of us then, Curbs, how do we approach this one with the feel-good factor that we've got at the moment?
Yeah, I think we've got to start on the front foot. Everyone talks like that, and don't give too much respect to Blackpool. But I think for me, it's about Alfie May, because he's playing in this number 10 role, and he's so honest that, as I said earlier, he was tracking back on Tuesday, tackling and whatever. But he's there to make a goal and score a goal, and he got his couple of goals, albeit the penalty, the rebound. But I think if he clicks, then we've got too much going forward in terms of up against Blackpool. We've got too much for him. So I'll be interested to see Alfie, how he performs today.
Yeah, I listened to him on Charlton Live when he was interviewed by Louis, and he said he's quite happy to play there. You'd expect him to kind of say that.
Yeah.
Do you lose a bit out of him? Did he almost learn during the game on Tuesday how to play that number 10 role?
If he didn't learn it, he was certainly told it, because in the first half hour he was either too high or too deep, and in the second half that wasn't the case. He held his position in between the lines very, very well. Be interesting to see. Obviously Blackpool would have watched that game, and watched what Alfie did, and they played two midfielders. So they were a 5-4-1 with two midfielders, so there was that space in behind. If the two midfielders got drawn out, he had that space. Interesting day if they go with a three-man midfield just to block that up, and then he's got to play a different game. But it'd be interesting. I thought the one thing that he didn't do, which he's done brilliantly, is get beyond their back line. No. So like Miles pulling somebody out today, and he